throughout the nation have gone through so many ups and downs. If the captain said, sit backward, yes, sir, we'd be the only one in the class looking in the other direction, no problem. You follow me?
Yes,
it's a process God puts us through.
That's right.
Up, down, up, down.
Yes,
I'm not getting into the details of that. You know your details in your particular life.
Yes,
then when we sit down and swap the story, you say, man, this stuff is rich.
Yes,
You do that too?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my stuff was a little different than yours. Just compare notes on the hell that we did or went through or whatever. It's remarkable. It's called war story.
Yes, yes, sir.
But all of us go through it. Sisters go through the same thing, but there are differences because by nature, male and female are not the same, so there are differences. But there's nobody going to escape it. No. Nobody.
That's right.
I didn't know it was like this. Well, you wasn't grown enough to understand. Now, no.
Yes, sir.
It is like this. I didn't know this happens and that happens. That's just you didn't know. You're just talking about your ignorance.
Yes, sir.
Now it's happening. It's been happening for years.
Yes, sir.
But now does Allah know about it?
Yes, sir.
Now here's we talk sometimes that Allah's stupid.
Yeah.
He set it up.
That's right. That's right.
You say he's okaying all this madness? No. But he approves of the process.
Right.
But the process is painful. So what?
Yes, sir.
To get born, you have to come through the door of pain.
Yes, sir.
You say, but I don't remember it. But your mama did. Right?
Yes, sir.
That's to physically get here.
That's right.
Then there are awkward moments going through adolescence, this, that, and the other. But then to grow spiritually, there is no way to grow spiritually without pain.
Come on.
Talk about Abraham every day, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You know him by now, don't you? Tough brother, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Chapter 16, verse, chapter 16 in the Holy Quran, section 16. Allah tried him and put him through a series of painful experiences and then made him a leader of men.
Yes, sir.
You want to be leaders. Every brother wants to be a leader. You say you don't, you're lying. Because you're born in this time frame to govern.
All right.
White men are here to rule. The white man's not here to bow no brothers and sisters. You see that? You tell the white man it's judgment day, man. He said, cool, that's okay. So what?
That's right.
You fight God.
That's right.
Let's get it on. Tell the God that. This man ain't got no chance to win. But his attitude is, hey, I'm here to rule. My people need a government.
That's right.
You have to kill him off the planet.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters, we are born here to be that group of people out of whom one world leaves and another world comes on.
Yes, sir.
You can't have that kind of process without going through some changes.
Yes, sir.
Think about every other change you ever went through before you came to Islam. It was a period of discomfort. Now here we are leaving hell going to heaven. How the hell you think this is going to happen? A world leaving you, another world coming in. One set of principles dying, another set of principles being born, the devil dying, God being born, and you go through this movement. You think we come by humility? Some of us got this fake humility. It's the humility of a slave. That's Yasa, obsequious, certain. Come in the nation like that. We know that ain't real.
Come on.
Those of us been around a lot. Well, we know pretty soon he gonna roar in a minute. He gonna roar crazy because he's ignorant.
Yes,
He don't know how to roar. He ain't never heard no lions roar. So he gonna do the best he can. So if we know any brother or sister, we can come in at first. Just beat him out, meek attitude, stand brothers. That's gonna last for a short while. Then you come out and you break out. But because we still green, we break out stupid. We got to go through all of that stuff before we begin to what? Settle down. Why should Allah allow us all this time to get it together? That's right. That's mercy.
Yes,
sir. You still here and you're a believer.
Yes, sir.
This means we got a shot at the king.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Another king, please.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
You may have to use this to get the sound right, because I don't want you to miss one word. You make
No, sir.
Make it from the soundtrack, please. I may have missed some words because the tape. I don't want nothing missed. You know what? Look, let me tell you, I've been in this almost 40 years. I came 40 years ago. I'm still a baby.
Yes, sir.
I learned the other day that a certain brother, I just learned this last week. I mean, it just made me want to just sit down and just, ooh. It made me just feel funny.
Yes, sir.
I don't know this brother. It's a particular brother. I may have seen him, but I don't know him. I would not recognize him by the name. I don't want to mention who it is. But there's a brother who I just learned from another brother last week, was in the grave, dealing narcotics. And this is the way I was told. If this is incorrect, I'll get the correct and share it with you. But this is the way I was told. He was sitting in a room listening to something I said. I don't know what tape. I don't know what he heard. He got up. He was affected. He was struggling with accepting this. Got up and went outside. And some others broke in the other door and killed his partners. You know, that's what happens with dope. People get shot and killed.
That's right.
And the brother credits that tape was really that's the gun.
Yes, sir.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. I said what I said, and I don't know nothing about how that happened. But it makes you how that we are often used. And it happens with us every day.
Yes, sir.
You don't know how things that you have said has affected some other brother or sister.
That's
You don't know.
right. That's right.
But we have to try to do the best we possibly can by one another. Now look, some brothers and sisters. The minister in private discussion with me last week over coffee was talking about how he does the best he can with each person that's in front of him to treat that person as good as he knows how. He said, brother, I make mistakes, but I try hard to treat every brother and sister the best that I know how. And that man got pressure on him that you don't.
That's right.
You and I get upset at our phone ringing 4, 5, 6 times. His rings hundreds of times. Not to think over the rest of the burden that man has on his shoulders. Now, my brothers and sisters, listening to me, just carefully now. Hypocrisy means, among other things, that the hypocrite has what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad calls a weak mind. He wrote in an article that the devils would use the weak-minded to attack the Muslims.
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
A weak-minded person is a person who don't believe the white man's the devil, don't believe God's a man.
Yes, sir.
That's an oversimplification. But it's too weak to hold on to the truth, too weak to penetrate the truth. A weak mind.
Yes.
Too weak to come out of falsehood into truth. Okay? Now, should again you be upset over a sister that turns today toward hypocrisy, even though your Holy Quran said that brother or sister may come out of hypocrisy tomorrow? Huh? They may come out of that tomorrow. The thing is, not what they did with their life, what are you and I doing with ours?
Yes, sir.
The weak-minded have the same aim as Satan, but just doesn't see as sharp as Satan sees. The weak-minded's power to think and imagine is weaker than a strong Muslim. A strong Muslim's thinking should produce more of an effect on the environment than the thinking of a hypocrite or weak-minded brother or sister.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why then do we get overly upset with the weak-minded? So long as they're not attacking us now, we should know where they are and what's going on.
Yes, sir.
To be crazy,
Yes, sir.
not to pay attention
That's
to what's going on. We're obligated to protect our own interests.
yes, sir.
That makes nothing but sense. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we had some spies on the island of Pilar. That's how we know what happened.
Yes, sir.
Some of them got killed. So we know what happened.
Yes, sir.
We had agents. Now, I've just touched some of the elements of hypocrisy. We have to know how it happens.
Yes, sir.
If we don't know the origin, sometime in our studies we can back into it
Yes, sir.
by looking at the activity. If you watch a rabbit or watch the lower animals, watch their behavior, watch their characteristic behavior. After a while, you can begin to deduce the nature of the energy or the law that governs the being and the principle that it rests on or that it comes out of.
Yes, sir.
Human beings are far more complex. But we got the Holy Quran here. Elijah Muhammad said to me one day, I know he said it to others, he said, brother, one of the reasons Allah gave me this book is so that I can understand you all. This is a book that helps us understand ourselves. One of of the things I'm obligated to do, I didn't spend this time studying for nothing. I have an obligation to my nation if I don't do nothing else in life.
All right, go ahead, brother.
Is to share what I have learned of these two books. I wasn't no scripture reader before I came to the nation. I learned that after I came to the nation. That says anybody can learn. I wasn't raised in the church. If you've ever heard me talk, you'll never hear me talk like I come out of the church, because I did. I can't talk like that.
Yes.
It's not part of my background. You never hear me sing songs. One, I can't sing. And two, I don't know the song. So I don't sing. I don't never use none of that. I leave that for somebody else to do. You hear what I'm saying? Just do your part that you can do.
That's right. That's right.
Now, my dear brothers and sisters, if you haven't thought about it, I'm asking you to think about this last time the minister came.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
If you have not thought of that as another chance, and maybe our last. I don't know if it is or not. I ain't got that kind of vision. But we should take it like that and say, look, we ain't going back no further. We know things could get worse. But we collectively, if each person says, I'm going to do my part
Yes,
to see to it, it don't get no worse than it is.
Yes, sir.
If each person makes that decision, and each person has to make up his or her own mind for themselves, then you have a whole region.
That's right.
A bunch of Muslims, brothers and sisters, more like one mind.
That's yes, sir.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I made a statement here that you all can get anything you want in this city.
That's right.
I know you don't believe that fully. I gave you a few examples out of my own experience. I didn't give you the heaviest ones. I gave you some easier ones. I told you all about my Muhammad told me, oh brother, my license expired. I want you to go down to the motor vehicle and tell him, Muhammad just don't feel like coming down today, but he would like to have his license. I said, yes, sir. I went down, told the white man exactly what he said. They asked me to take a seat. 20 minutes later, they took the picture off that one, put it on this one, give me the license. I went back.
Yes.
It's some others
Yes.
that he had me to do. I did it. I wasn't going to do other than that. I did what he said.
Yes, sir.
Then later on, he told me, and it's a principle that all of us can get, should have, how to get from my mind whatever I wanted. I didn't understand it. I just heard him say, this is like we over, yes, yes, yes. Understand almost zero. And then I tried some of it out, and it works. You can get anything you want here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Allah, look. Allah, this the Holy Quran tells us. Let me make this little side step.
Go ahead.
You read in your Holy Quran chapter 7. Allah don't reward us on the basis of just our good average of our good and evil. If He gonna average up good and evil, we out of here.
Right.
We know that. Then He don't just throw out the good and just average up the good. That's not enough. Because if the principle is 100% or nothing, we're through. Are there any Muslims other than righteous? I beg your pardon, I've never heard of them, except all these millions. You see my point?
Yes, sir.
So he says, they're all straight with me. I mean, how does that work? He said that in the 30s. He wrote that, and we still got it. English lesson number C1. We're all righteous. Now, explain that. We ain't talking about hypocrisy.
Yes, sir.
How come we all righteous? Explain that, Allah. Big time subject, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
We talk about Christ dying for our sins. That really happened for us.
Yes, sir.
That really happened. That really happened. 2 times, about to happen a 3rd time.
Yes, sir.
It really happened. We are the most loved objects ever in God's creation. Ever. Never have been a people, human beings, on whom God has focused the greatest intensity of love that His heart can generate.
Lord, have mercy.
The man who knows God best said that Master Farah Muhammad loves us more than a mother does her children.
All right.
It's a man
All right.
with the love of all the mothers wrapped into one and then some for babies. We're babies compared to
Yes,
him.
sir.
That's right.
We're still in the kindergarten
Yes, sir.
of His knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Come on now. Now, so be careful how you judge yourself. Forget about others. Stop judging yourself. Now, I know this next statement, some of you will say, well, that ain't me. But listen at the statement. The Holy Quran say, written by the best knower. You see I in the book and you see we in the book. The I is Master Farad Muhammad. The we is him agreeing with the other science. And this book says, the judging on that day will be just. Whoever done an Adam's way to good or evil will see it. He said, oh God, I'm out of here. Jesus said, if we spoken one word, one vain word, we'll be held accountable for it. Oh, we can't handle that. Come on. On the other hand, it said he would take the best that we ever did. The judge based on this principle. What is the best brother or sister did? Then take that and then multiply.
Go ahead.
Maximum action. You got max action, but you act like you hate it.
That's right.
And so since so many of us come in the nation hating self, you continue that program. Then you want to spread your depression and your self-hate to everybody else. You're almost like that scientist 66 trillion years ago.
Yes, sir.
I want everybody like me.
Yes, sir.
Half insane.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And some of us wear our depression, our you mouth, like an upside down you, like a badge of honor.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel, brother, sister, so-and-so? I feel bad.
Yeah.
2 hours later, how do you feel? I feel worse. The next day, I ain't never felt this bad. 2 weeks later, I'm worse than that. You know what that all comes from? You don't like yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
You look in the mirror and you say, yuck. Now, let me touch on something else. See that brother over there, Brother Wazi? I love that brother.
Yeah.
Except there's a part of him I don't love. It's the part that I didn't meet in 1958. Now I'm going to talk about fat people for a minute. That got something to do with hypocrisy. But he's too fat. Mr. Harvey is leading you all into fat. And the cat. Fat congregation. Now I know you're rich. One of the richest mosques in terms of talent on the planet. But you're also rich with fat. There's 6 sisters in Phoenix, Arizona that I love. I call them Sister Blimp. To their face. Now, I found out what fat is about this year. I went all the way up to 165 pounds. I said, that ain't nothing. But for me, that's a whole bunch of fat. That's 18 pounds beyond sanity for me. I should weigh about 147. In shape or out of shape. But not no 165. That's ridiculous. For me. What's ridiculous, it may not be for you. Maybe you 6'5" and got big bones. But you shouldn't weigh 300 pounds. Now, I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to talk about your fat for a minute. You can run out if you want.
Come on, man.
Bring it on.
But you're going to have to lose the weight or you're not going to see the kingdom of heaven.
Bring it on.
Mr. Farrakhan warned everybody about fat. And you said, I love you, Khan, but I ain't going to lose it. They said, I didn't say it. Yes, you did. You kept on scoffing. What's the root of your fat? You hate yourself. You were, some of you was never that fat. You then become a Muslim and then get fat. Because you didn't handle the grave and not a new thing. You want to bring the old into the new. Leave the grave behind.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
You want to, some of you sisters want to wallow in self-pity. What they did and she did and they did it. The hell with that.
Yes, sir.
Look, if your father molested you, that's yesterday. Turn the hell out of yesterday. He would take our sins, put them in a burlap bag, and throw them in a sea of forgetfulness. Why don't you participate with God in getting rid of yesterday?
Yes,
Part of the problem in this is a whole bunch of y'all hold on to crap you did and others did yesterday. The hell with that. yesterday's meal. You can't live in the past. The problem is you fighting the God. Every one of you got a mission. I know some Muslims personally. But I got a chance to know up close, and I got a chance to peep some of their talent. Fighting God. You know there's a reason that you're here, but you say, I'm going to fight God. You don't say it like that, but you might as well say it. You want to jump in the ring with Master Farad Muhammad. You fat because you're thinking it's wrong.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Problem book number 2, fat sisters, talk about it.
Yes, sir.
How can I lose weight? I can lose it slowly. No, you can lose it rapidly. Look, I talked to Dr. Goss extensively about general cleaning before he came to Phoenix. I wasn't going to have him talk to the brothers and sisters, so I checked him out. One of the main things I learned, and this is working on some sisters right now, the Fat Six in Phoenix. There's 22 fat sisters over there. I don't care if you don't like. You want to fight me? Go ahead. I asked one of the sisters I know real well who's not fat. Sister, because I don't, MGT business is MGT business. But a fat sister's all our business.
Yes, sir.
Just like a fat brother's all about business.
Right.
You gonna motivate Minister Harvey to lose weight?
Yes, sir.
With love?
Yes, sir.
How about each other?
Yes, sir.
You gonna motivate yourself to lose weight?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I don't know how to do it. I do everything. I'm still fat. You ain't doing it. Ask somebody else. Damn it. You don't know how to restart the button. Ask somebody for help. He don't want to see your others. He didn't talk about the brothers like that, but that goes for us too, man.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Jakku threw overboard those that was not right. Unhealthy overboard you went. Some of you sisters say, well, I can't get pregnant. I had my stuff cut out when I was in the grave or even after I become a Muslim. Allah can take care of that too.
That's right. That's right.
That's taken care of. They already got us set up somewhere else on earth to take care of that. Stop this crazy self-hate just because you dumb.
Yeah.
In some cases, you just straight up dumb. You don't know enough. Ask.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't sit and wallow in your dumbness. That's crazy. I don't care. What the fuck?
Come on.
It's cold.
That's right.
Like Minister Farrakhan, when he sent him out here, he sent him out here to war. I could have told my brother that when he got here. This is warfare.
That's right.
The West is crazy. Look like that, from what I can see.
Still is.
But this region should rise up and choke hypocrisy to death.
That's right. Yes. Come on, wake up!
But I just want to get these things laid. I asked the brother, this thing called CKLS, I know you may like Dr. Tory, whatever, fine, you do what you want to do. I'm just telling you something that's working right now.
Come on.
Because a lot of your fatness ain't fat, it's just extended and expanded intestines.
Yes, sir.
That's all. That's all that it is.
Go ahead.
Poor diet. You don't want to eat the beans. You want to eat something different. You slide around on the side and get you some crabs and lobsters. You eat crap, garbage. You wouldn't eat a live insect, but you eat an underwater insect. You say it tastes better.
Go ahead.
When I first came to this city, April '58, we were shocked. Chocolate covered ants. We didn't hear that about that when we came from. What? Chocolate covered? What? It's so snake out here. I mean, this is an experimental place. What can we think of crazy next? That's right. Tempe, Arizona, you got white children that they call piercing. Piercing.
What's that?
Have that come out here yet? Yes. Put something through your nose, your tongue. Niggas, that's insane. Talk about incidental thing. Something they're getting out of. That's madness.
That's right, it is.
That's insanity. Walking around with something stuck off all in your hair and face and whatnot. All in the belly button.
Yeah.
You see the Negroes doing that? We did that in Africa, but that was a different program. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
The West. My dear brothers and sisters, Minister Farrakhan got up behind repentance, got up behind humility, recognition of truth first, and then he changed and confession. Confession, confess. Haven't you heard the minister deal with that? I gotta repeat that.
Yes.
You go and take care of that with the God. Go in the closet and talk to him. It's talking to somebody, but the problem with us is we think he hates us. We got this. Some of us still got the same childish. Some of us have never worked on what is our conception of Master Farrakhan.
All right.
You walking around vague. Don't even try to learn that God is a man. Go read page 61 through 74 and our Savior has arrived. The Almighty Muhammad there presents 4 arguments: mathematics, nature, science, and scripture to prove and interrelates them to show God as a man. They're only articles, it's not a whole book. But you should read it. You got his books on this shelf, or in some cases you don't even know where they are. Right?
Yes, sir.
The Holy Quran, you got it up high, so high you can't reach it. And wrapped up on top of that, like the minister said. I don't want no dust to get on it. Your Holy Quran should be a worn-out book. You should be into your 2nd, 3rd, or 5th copy.
That's right.
And Mr. Farrakhan got a copy that's so worn out, I mean, it took like the words about to fall off. He done read it so much. If you are sympathetic and hardly see any difference between yourself and a hypocrite, that means you are that or just about that. If the hypocrisy of a hypocrite doesn't offend you, like in the penitentiary, all of us have been in it know that a child molester is the bottom of the barrel. Right? Men just, hey, no. You're offended by it. This devil, Dama, whatever his name is, that brother killed him.
That's right.
He didn't like it. Because of what he did. The brother already got big time on it, so they add more time. So what? You do a triple life, they add 2 more lives on it, so what? There's certain things that should naturally offend us, even in our dead state. That's an example. Okay, a cannibal. That's effectively offensive. But how about hypocrisy? You gotta study it. Go to the index of your book and look up believer, disbeliever, and hypocrite. Look at your index. Just read what it says Muslim. Just read what it says about a Muslim. A description of a Muslim. Do it. Just open the index, take 2 minutes, read it. Then you then go on to work in the morning and turn that over in the back of your mind. The little things you can do to feed yourself every day and grow. And the more you do this, you find your memory develops rapidly. I speak for myself. I got to a point where I could remember 1 article per 30 minutes on my job years ago. You'd be surprised what your mind can do. But we live way within our power. We fritter away so much time. But if we feed more off the Word of God, put in whatever time you can, you find yourself changing. And myself rapidly. Now let me leave all that to come to this next point. If the home is hell, then the mosque will be too. That should be enough. That's just a comment. That's something we have to deal with. Single brothers and sisters are in a state of flux, are they not?
Yes.
Sisters who are single want to get married, unless you're a lesbian hiding out.
That's right.
I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. If you said you do not want to get married, you got a problem. You need some help. Since it ain't personal, since I don't know all you personally, I can just talk like this, right? I'm going to talk like this anyhow. If I get to know you, I'm going to say. Brothers, if you're single and you say, I do not ever see the captain, something's wrong. Right now. Brother, that side of the aisle is heaven. You do not die and go. You ask heaven, marry me. And you marry heaven, and then you in heaven. That's how it happens. believe that because she hates herself. She's judging herself by what madness went on in her life. So she said, I'm not that. So God is alive. Allah alive? Now there's the problem, sister. Your view or Allah's view? Who's the best knower? You or him? Allah. How deep down into you did that sink? Did that go?
All right.
Sitting on the heart? Or the open up and the word go in?
Well,
If the heart open up and the word go in, then there's a change that should take place.
That's
Or
right.
if you don't see no change, then you lie.
That's right.
oh yeah.
Right? All you sisters now, let me finish off fat. Let me finish off something. If you were to take, say you real fat brothers and sisters, if you have to do this right, you can't eat nothing throughout the day. Your stomach hollers spaghetti. Time to eat, you can't rush this. You eat a bowl of fruit, a huge bowl of fruit. A bowl that you wouldn't ordinarily eat. This is you call it abnormal eating. It's eating a certain way for a certain effect.
That's right.
Eat this big bowl of fruit, no melons. Melons shouldn't be eaten with anything else 4 hours before or after. Now, when you eat this big bowl of fruit, no milk, no bread, just fruit. And no water. Water 45 minutes before or after. No water. 45 minutes before or after. You eat the fruit slowly. Have pleasant atmosphere. No messy atmosphere. No madness on the tube. Classical music. You say, well, I don't like classical music. Don't use jazz, though. No. Jazz is another kind of music. If you ever look up the meaning of jazz in French.
Come on, man.
But you notice in all the movies that you see on TV and whatnot, the music is classical, for the most part.
Yes, sir.
It's another kind of music.
Yes.
You say, well, that's highbrow. I wasn't raised like that. Forget about what you was raised by ignorant parents, and you was raised dead. Right?
Yes, sir. That's right.
Forget that.
Right.
The point is, have pleasant music,
Yes, sir.
pleasant sound, pleasant conversation. If you're with somebody else, they eat pleasant. Eat it slowly, hour and a half. You say, I haven't got that kind of time. Yes, you do. You want to stay here, you do.
Yes, sir.
Eat it slowly.
Yeah.
And take the CKLS with it. Use the moisture in the mouth. 45 minutes later, begin guzzling water. The rest of the night, the next day, water. Ramadan, cut it off in the morning. Water. Fill up. The molecules of the earth and combine with the molecules in the fruit. They bond with the toxin molecules in the colon, liver, kidney, and spleen, and the water flushes it out.
Yes,
You instantly feel better. That helps to motivate you right there.
Yes, sir.
Because you feel better.
Yes, sir.
Do it 4 straight days. Then drop down a couple of CKLS and now turn to vegetables. Lightly steamed and some raw. Do it 3 days. Then go on a 3-day fast. Now you see the weight begin to drop off.
Yes, you do.
Not throughout the first 7 days because you got a lot of water in you. I don't see no weight loss. But you feel better.
Yes, sir.
You've removed a bunch of toxins. Some of it plaque-like in the intestines. When we eat food that drink the water, improper digestive process, the food goes so far in the intestinal tract, now it's no longer food, it stops. The body then puts a coating over it to trap that fellow on the side because it's a mess, it's a problem here. Push it out the way. Then the brain says extend or expand to the intestines because more food's coming. We know that's going to happen. So get larger to make room. Then here comes the stuff. Begin here.
Go ahead.
That's what happens. You follow me? Okay? So now, what happens is it attacks it and breaks it up.
Yes, sir.
Stuff that's been there 15, 20, 25, 30, 50 years. They open up dead people and they find this plaque over the teeth when you got plaque in the intestines. It turns to various kinds of poison. The white man gives a different kind of name. It's just nothing. It's death in the body. And it flows throughout the entire bloodstream, messes with your mind. Throws you off here, throws you off there. We get this kind of ailment, that kind of ailment. We get physical ailment and mental ailments. Oh yeah, mental ailments.
Yes, sir. Yes.
We don't like nobody talking about our mind. We can talk about our broke foot, our broke arm. But we don't want to hear nobody talk about our broke head.
Yes, sir.
That's something too personal, isn't it? See, there's something about this part where the brain is that we don't want you getting too close to that with negative talk, what we call negative talk. You need to look into it. I'm hitting this very quickly, but look into it. Now, so much for that. So you're all going to lose weight, right? Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
Or
sir.
you're not going to see or
breaking out the scale.
you won't go to, you're going to have a kick.
You're going to break the scales.
Did you have a scale here? Not the jive kind, the real kind that the boxers get on, that don't lie hard. With the weights on it, not this fake stuff, electronic and digital. You want the real deal. And you want to get two, one for the brothers and one for the sisters.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Why not? Yeah, if a lot of people, maybe buy 5 scales. I bought 3 of the 6 sisters, I bought them scales. And I promised my brother Wazir a scale, and I'm going to get him his scale today. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
You can't do nothing dead.
No.
Right.
There's no praise to thee in the grave.
That's right.
What the hell is that? Becoming Islam to die. No. So I bought him one of these heart paces. What do you call these things? You put a watch over here, thing around your chest. Do you use it? It's just to tell you how fast your heart is going. And you exercise the heart. I got one too. I don't use it like I should, but I got it.
Yes, sir.
That's a small example. You help one another.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Holy Quran. What chapter is it? 103? Says we should do that? I'm only practicing my religion. Okay, now, so much for that. We'll leave the fact subject. You don't hate me for saying it. If you do, God looking at you. So you're going to lose weight. Now, sisters, don't worry about losing fast. If you do this, do that 7 days, then 3 days to fast, then eat normal for a week. Then go and do it again. In the course of 1 month, if you do it right, you're going to lose 20, 25 pounds just like that.
There you go.
You'll feel so much better. One sister lost 23 pounds in 2 weeks. But you're not losing you, you're losing that.
That's right.
Huh? You're losing what don't belong to you.
That's right. That's all.
That which is other than you.
Go ahead.
Okay, now so much for that. Now, if the home is hell, the mosque is hell. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I know you're dealing with that, aren't you? You're dealing with that, but it's a fact. We have to improve our married life. In some cases, we marry for the wrong reason.
That's right.
And a lot of us don't even know the difference between love and infatuation. Some of us ain't never read one book on the subject. Well, that's that devil stuff. That devil know what you don't know. Better go get that devil book. Sometimes you can go right into what they call the religious bookstores and read some interesting material about how, on what basis should you make a decision. I mean, look, getting into marriage involves getting to know yourself in a way that you never knew yourself, right?
Yes,
How did marriage get started? If you ever want to improve your marriage, find out how it got started. Who originated marriage? Anybody know? God did.
Amen.
Say that again, man. Say that again.
Okay, I'll say it
Say it
again.
again.
The first God produced the wife and married. That's how marriage got started. People have been doing it ever since.
Yes, sir.
That's right. The Bible tells you, in the writings there, it tells you that it's a mystery. That is one of the proofs that the Messiah didn't come 2,000 years ago. The Jesus figure there is saying he's thanking the God for revealing this, that, and the other, not to the wise of the world, but to the babes. Yet marriage going to be a mystery. How the hell marriage going to be a mystery? It's such a big thing. How's that going to be a mystery? God's going to make all things new and reveal it all and leave out how marriage got started? How in the world you ever going to know how to do it right and don't know nothing about the origin? Every one of us that get married, you're doing the same thing God and the first black sister did.
Think about it.
That's what you do.
Isn't that wonderful?
Now, if you go into it, you messed up, agree to disagree intelligently. Don't curse each other out, call each other a bunch of this, that, and the others. Huh? That's another Muslim you're looking at.
Right.
If you got a divorce, do it with love.
Yes,
Don't do it with hate. You say, but I don't know how to divorce. That's because your mind is still in the grave. That's why your marriage in some cases died. If you divorce like a Negro, It's because you went into marriage like a nigga. It's blunt, but it's fair.
That's right.
Sir.
That's right.
And it's on the money, and it's accurate.
Yes, sir.
So you're in a marriage now, it ain't what you think it should be. You want some help. You got a sharp minister, talk to him. In addition, something you do for yourself, go get you a book. Stop being so damn lazy. You want to read a book on everything else that you want, but you don't want to read a book about making some money and this, that, and the other, how to fix your car, but you won't read a book on how to fix your marriage.
That's right.
That's dumb. Dumb and stupid. Those are some hard words. You ever look up dumb and stupid? I have. That's some cold terms. I mean, I don't want to be called stupid. I've been stupid. But I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, deal with marriage. Then sometimes we're so childish in the MGT, if certain subjects concerning marriage comes up, there's a whole lot of silly giggling. Right? Same thing in the FOI. You bring up certain that you can't even get into some things you should get into because we in our private classes are still juvenile in that area of our life. In certain areas of the male-female thing.
Yes.
We ought to have some
Teach.
That's right. That's right.
just among the Muslims. Forget about the dead.
That's right, brother.
Just among the Muslims.
That's right.
But yet you got to control it now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because there's a magnet if you don't control that stuff. Some of us going to use the seminar to get off on somebody else. But you need to do that.
Yes, sir.
Brothers, do you know all about the female nature? You thoroughly mastered that knowledge?
No, sir.
You know exactly what makes women tick.
No, sir.
Sisters, you know thoroughly, brothers, you know men thoroughly. Look at what we just admitted. Look what we just fessed up to. We're all Muslims, huh? But I don't understand that side. I don't understand that side.
Well,
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? You follow what I'm getting at? When are you going to get rid of that ignorance? All you need to do is start talking. The ignorance goes. Now you can't talk dumb talk.
that's right.
You can't talk that which does not enlighten the mind.
That's right. Go ahead.
What is the woman? How do we even begin to approach it? It's right in this wisdom. We got supreme wisdom. If you know that the first God created the first woman from himself, then what was his idea? If we get to his idea, we got the sister's nature.
Right.
How did he treat her, brother? Must have treated her pretty good because here we are, despite slavery. I'm just dropping this on your mind. Come on, let's get up off this superficial stuff. You've been a Muslim too long to walk around on the surface of this wisdom. You should be in the house talking with each other as deep as you can go, and yet deal on another level with your dead brothers and sisters that don't know what you know. You don't go out there to your dead brothers and sisters to show off the little that you learned, beat them on the head with what you talk over with some other brother or sister been around 40 years in the nation. You hear what I'm saying? Don't show off. Now, lessons. The antidote for hypocrisy is what? First thing, prayer. Did you know prayer is a means of generating information? Do you ever pray for knowledge?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Listen to this now. I'm right at my conclusion of all of this. 3 of these lessons, the English probably, actual fact was written by Master Farah Muhammad. He wrote it. If you've ever read This Is the One, chapter 10, you saw something of the value of that lesson. It hasn't changed. From the 30s to right now. But the white man's knowledge about those same things have changed. I did the research. I did it. You can do it if you want to, but I looked at his encyclopedias, starting in 1900. Kept on, and kept on to the time that I was doing it in the 60s. And I saw his figures change.
That's right.
Now his figures more and more come near like the figures of the actual fact. That is some evidence in your house that Master Farah Muhammad is God. Sister Al-Mahdi Muhammad said he didn't write it. He said his teacher wrote it. Then you're interacting with God's mind. Now ask yourself, why are there 20 statements here? Why not 15 or 40? What's the meaning of that? What do these figures mean? Since God never does anything without a reason, why is the sun exactly so much and that's all? Huh? Now you start asking questions about what you got in front of your nose. Memorize the lessons, and then when you're driving to work, you can turn them over in your mind. You may go to the penitentiary one day like I did, but if the lessons are in your head, you can keep on studying.
Right.
I was able to just pass them through my mind. I just wish I had the problem book down better. But I intend on memorizing it. Why not? Why not? Why not put the Word of God right in your brain? Huh? Then you turn it over. Now, how do you said the problem book. I don't understand that. Lesson 1, pardon me, English lesson, student enrollment, lesson 1 and 2 are questions and answers between the two of them. Who is the original member? Why did he ask who is? Why did he ask that? You know something that you need to do? Need, N-E-E-D. If you do this one time, you needn't thank me, but you thank yourself for doing it. Take your dictionary out. Just take the student enrollment and look up every word that's there. Even every word that's repeated, look it up again. Look up the period. Look up the question mark. Look up everything that's on the page. Look up the comma. Look up everything. The numbers. When you come out of that, you will be different. The question I'm asking you is, why? Why will you be different? And you will feel good and you will see things from those seemingly super simple words that you've never seen before. Try it one time. One time. Now, then after that comes the problem book. You say, well, that's a problem for me. I don't know how to...
Yes, sir.
Yes, there's hidden wisdom there.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Brother Allah and myself one day, 1961, the way to understand that is read it. Just keep reading. 6 years later, one day in 1967, October, November, one of those months, he said, all right, brother, no questions tonight. Get your lessons. I did. He told me, I'm telling you, this is my experience. He said, turn to 7 and 8. I did. He said, read it. I read it. There was some other people there. He said, read it again. I did. He said, read it again. I did. He said, read it again. I did. Read it again. I did. Read it again. I did. So I went over and over for an hour and a half. I was getting tired, but as I was getting tired, I began to see things I never saw before.
All right.
He told us to do it, and I didn't do it, and then he made me do
All
it.
right.
I saw the benefit. I'm passing it on to you. What is the duty of a civilized man? See, well, I ain't got that duty because I'm not civilized. I won't go after the dead because I ain't got my stuff together. Why should I have to go after the dead? Some of us talk like that, right? I don't have to sell no final call because I'm not dead. I'm dead, rather. I'm exempt from that. And some sister may say, well, it said man, didn't say sister, didn't say woman. That won't cut no ice with the God at all. Now, if we don't do our duty by all these other brothers and sisters, what will happen to us? We got smart, we got intelligence, you're smart, you got money, and there's other things that you just won't ask for properly, so they ain't gonna get it till you ask for it.
Yes, sir.
Let me go back to that a minute.
Yes, sir.
One of the last things he told me to do before he left us, Elijah Muhammad, he said, I don't think I should have to go across the street, brother, and get my mail. In Phoenix, mailboxes are all on one side of the street. Unless it's an apartment complex. He gave me a $20 bill. He said, brother, go out and buy me a mailbox and put it up against my house. I shouldn't have to go across the street and get my mail. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got the mailbox. I put it up. I think it's still there. I haven't thought about it. I said, no. They ain't going to change it. Then I forgot. A day or two later, I forgot about it. Years passed by, I began to think about it. Oh, I see. Abraham has. That just because he said it, that makes it true. Then, with this many people, whatever you ask for, you got it. Anything you want, legitimate. The objective must be right. The motive must be right. I came here and said, you should get $114,000 for Minister Parker, number 2 portrait.
Right.
I know what I'm talking about. That's activating or triggering a law that will give you a bunch of money.
Right.
Not that you're doing it for that. The minister does need money. Among us, he has more expenses than any one of us has. Right in his house alone. He's always having guests. There's many expenses he has. Okay? He has to pay out of his pocket. A couple of years ago, almost $1 million was donated to number 2 poor treasury. And in private, I'm saying this is private, but I'm saying it openly. He said, Jabril, I don't have that. He told me the figure he actually had was almost nothing. That he actually had. I wouldn't say the exact figure, but at this particular point there, at the end of the year, he had literally several thousands of dollars, which is nothing for a man of his stature.
That's right.
I won't tell you the exact figure, but it wasn't $100,000. He had given all that other money away.
Yes.
Or spent it on other people.
Yes, sir.
That's his personal money. He used to use it just like the Honorable Muhammad used it, the personal money. That money, so many cars and suits you can wear. You follow me? Now, you say you want to see the leader, you don't want to see him out in the public looking bad, do you?
No, sir.
You say that. Okay. You don't want to see him looking bad at all because he represents you. And
Yes, that's
he
right.
represents God, Christ, you, me, and our people, even though they may not understand it fully yet what he's saying to them. Okay, that's on one level. But he has expenses beyond his personal needs. Hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, there's things he's trying to do. And he has to have a discretionary fund. That's what that money is for. Okay, things come up, emergencies come up. He has to have a lot of money. I came back, and y'all said, LA gonna do $114,000. We did $250,000.
That's right.
Before I got here the first time, though, I learned that Brother Jamil and them was aiming for $110,000, and they dropped $1,000 on the minister. I just said straight up, it was a suitcase full of money, raw money, just straight up green. It's money. No check, the hell with that. Green. You deal with this right now, Brother Minister. Here it is.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The devil don't know nothing about it.
Yes,
He can't
sir.
prove nothing
All right,
about his
all right.
business. That's how we used to handle it. How many of y'all know that beside me, Mr. What? You used to bring him raw cash. It's cash. What? So what? Cash. Money. A lot of money. Not as much as we should have. He didn't become a millionaire till the 70s.
That's right.
You didn't know that, huh? In terms of, he got $1 million. That's in the portrait. It grew to $4 million. Then, of course, the imam did his job with it. You know, isn't it interesting that in 1977, August, Herbert Muhammad struck a coin with his brother's image on it. Isn't that interesting? That's exactly what Antiochus Epiphanes' brother did for him.
Right.
It's a big subject right there. But it's one of those many, 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 many things that proves to us we are fulfilling the book.
Yes, sir.
And if you were with the right side, you got a good future ahead of you.
Yes, sir.
Now, I know everybody here wants to become rich. And if you say you don't, I say, like I said before, you're a liar. I'm right. You're not making no mistake. That's actually a sin to be talking about. Because you're calling a God a liar.
Yes, sir.
Come on now.
But when you talk about having money, we always respond good to that. But we don't want to respond as good as we are going to become perfect one day. Oh, yeah. That's a problem. That's vague and mystical and spooky talk. But you can see yourself with a lot of money. Huh?
Yes, sir.
'Cause that's material. I can see that. I can put my hands on it. Can you see yourself one day being at peace with all your brothers and sisters, living in a society of peace?
Yes, sir.
What are you willing to do to bring that about? Now, see these things? What are these? You know what these are, right? Do you have one at home? Do you have one at home? The pledge card.
Yes, sir.
I promise, I pledge, I pledge. We all said this, right?
Yes, sir.
It's in this, isn't it? When's the last time you read a letter that opens this up? I'm asking each one of you to do that. I want to read it to you. I'm going to read a couple of lines out, but I had it in my notes to read the entire letter because some of you ain't read it in years. You just don't read it. But he's talking about what? The self-accusing spirit. If every single Muslim in the whole Western region would adopt the spirit of this letter, which was the spirit out of which the nation of Islam was rebuilt, then all of us acknowledge our part. Don't worry about the part of nobody else. Acknowledge your own part in us going down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If each person would do that,
Yes, sir.
then the whole group comes up.
That's right.
Then, if you decided one night or one morning, we just go out for prayer. And we're going to ask Allah for whatever. You should pray to the God for the money.
Yes, sir.
That the telethon be a success.
That's right.
If you come out and pray with a clear mind and ask properly. You got it.
You're going to do that. Yeah.
All right, God.
Jesus said, I've never been unsuccessful in my prayer.
Never.
Do you really believe in it? I'll send you a book, Minister, I'll be to share with everybody. I bought a bunch of copies of it. I've been passing it out. It costs a lot of money, but I've been doing it, called Healing Words. There's a white man, the white folks have taken prayer and put it in the lab. And they found out it works.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Prayer works.
That's right.
I can't send everybody, but I'm going to send one copy. Healing Word. The other book is called Pain. The Gift Nobody Wants. I'll send that over too. I promise you, I'll send both books over here. Pain. It's about pain. Pain. The Gift Nobody Wants. That's the subtitle. Pain. The Gift Nobody Wants. I can't think of it. Dr. Somebody. Tough book. $20-some. Buy it.
Yes, sir.
And Healing Words. The devil put prayer in the lab. They know it works. If you got 100, 200, 300 believers in Master Farad Muhammad, you ain't never done that. Have we ever done it since 1958? We ain't never done that. We have never tried it. If there's some of you that have a doubting attitude, I'm going because they're all there. I don't really believe this. But if the rest of you who do believe it, the power of your mind will affect that person.
That's
so
right.
when you walk out, everybody will walk out better.
That's right.
You ain't never tried that. You just gonna raise the money just on your ingenuity? God ain't got nothing to do with this. Suppose the white man say, I don't want them niggas to raise no money for that part.
That's right.
Why not call on the God? Huh? Do you ever call on him when you're in trouble?
Yes,
Well, we all in trouble.
That's right, sir.
Out here in the West.
Yes.
We're in big time trouble.
That's right.
Do you know what has to be done to pull off this million-man march?
Yes, sir.
A lot of work, huh?
Yes, sir.
Can it be done without prayer?
No, sir.
The anecdote or the solution to hypocrisy is the very thing the hypocrite rejects. Simon, Simon, Satan has desired you, that singular, that he may sift you, plural, in Greek, as wheat. Wallace wants this, but he especially wants you, Farrakhan. He refers to Peter by his slave name, pointing to something in the follower that he doesn't want, can't use, but he's going to let the devil have that. Give the devil the poor part. The God don't care about the poor part. You want to get rid of that. Following me?
Yes, sir.
But I have, past tense, he's sitting there at the table, Last Supper, talking to his disciples. I've already agreed with Satan to give you to him. Him to him. But, see, that's an agreement between him and me. But now I've done something else. He and I agreed there, but God and me agreed on this other hand. You see this?
Yes, sir.
Elijah Muhammad and the devil agreed, let the nation, especially Farrakhan, go into your hand. Now, I'm going to get you back, minus the thing that he can keep. The thing that's in you, Mr. Devil, will bond with the thing in my servant that I don't want. And when my prayer begins to effectuate what I prayed for, then you will come back minus what I don't want. Hear this? This is what we all want. You know, there's a deep reason why Master Farad Muhammad's father united with a white woman to produce Master Farad Muhammad. So please, Allah, we'll deal with that, but I can't. Tomorrow. One of those meetings tomorrow. There's a reason. At least put the principle out. But we need this.
Yes,
now, we've
sir.
all come through hypocrisy. Either we were tainted by it, or we in it, were in it, past tense. Or somebody else close to us has been touched by it and affected us one way or another, maybe even weakened us a bit. This is something we got to understand. It's a disease. But what kind of a disease is it? Is it physical? It's spiritual. And don't tell me that you understand this spiritual disease unless you first understand the Spirit of God. The Spirit of God precedes the devil's spirit.
Yes, sir.
Brothers and sisters, one of the worst things that we can ever become is an envious person. Envy is a quality that contains not one element of that which is redeeming. It's no. So much for that point. Just touch it, keep going. I'm abbreviating a couple of things here because I didn't know it was going to take this much time. But the pledge card, you need to read it. Do not feed yourself the pledge card. Why not look back at what you agreed to do? Then the lesson talks about have not we what? About word being bought? And what? Now, do you know how that ties into student enrollment question and answer number 1? There's a relationship. Did you read where Jesus said, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word won't pass away? That relates to the Almighty Muhammad saying that you cannot kill all black people. Do you know why we're given that in the lessons to study? That's pulling us up to make us gods and goddesses. God don't break his word. God can't lie. You cannot lie. The only way to get born is to have a mother and a father. And when you're absolutely real sure enough dead, you're not coming back. These 3 things are impossible. Everything else is possible. Even if it was, and some of you have heard Almighty Muhammad say this, if it was possible to kill everybody black, if you got rid of all of us, we would not be able, there would be nobody to count time. But out of the blackness of space, a black man would come into being all over again. And he would start everything else, and he would start everything all over again. Now, you may not accept that fully. I'm not too stupid to think because I said he said that, and he did say that all of you accept that just because I said he said that. But I want you to think about the Jesus saying this. Heavens and earth will pass away before my word shall appear. There's a man saying, look, listen to the words now. That man had reached a point of development where he became so, if I can use a loose term, integrated in the universal order of God's creation. That he had reached the point of beginning to affect it and then even control it. That if he degenerated, that he would cause the whole process to go down. If Master Farah Muhammad was to mess up, then everything goes to hell. I just want to I want you to think about it. Think about it, think about it, think about it. Look. But the gods are on that level. The gods behind the veil were the ones answering the prayers and running the show, but from behind the veil. The heavens and the earth don't just operate just by itself. Certainly, you can take a clock, or this tape recorder is just running by itself right now. Hold on a minute. I'll just turn it over right now. I'm about done. Listen to this, kid. I'm right at the end of what I came here to tell you. A few things I did abbreviate, but if you go ahead and do it, then that serves the purpose. If you read the letter again, just read it one time and think about it, which you should do. I won't have to say all those words, or go back over the pledge card, but look at this. Heavens and the earth shall pass away, but my word won't fail, which is the same as saying, if my word fails, if the thing I say that will happen doesn't happen, then the universe will collapse, meaning I would have lost control of creation, and it's going to go out of control. I'm trying to use simple language, unscientific, very brief to say a bunch. Are you following this, though? Yes, if you don't maintain this building, what will happen to it? If you don't maintain your car, what happens to it? You get on the highway and drive. 100 miles, no problem. If the machine's in good shape, it keeps going. You wind up the clock, it works. Certain things are set up like that, but everything needs maintenance. Maintenance. The universe requires maintenance. It requires activity. You know what I'm saying? Yes, so now, those beings that run creation, we now have been invited to get up there. Go and look in your lesson and ask yourself, how many times is we used? And we are made to say we. And we know we wasn't there. And we didn't do this or that. But we're being made to think on that level.
Go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
We're being asked to do what? Think the thoughts of God. How do you generate the Spirit of God? By thinking the thoughts of God.
Go ahead.
Thinking thinking the thoughts of God generates from within the heart. Now, how deep must you think? You must think the thought of God with the heart. Not just with the mind, but if you think it with the heart, then the word fills up and permeates the heart. And it drives out of the heart what don't belong there.
Yes, sir.
Now this is a process we got to keep doing. We keep saying prayer. What's prayer for? It is the purification of the what?
Heart.
Oh. So prayer is a multifaceted act. It hooks us and ties us into God. It purifies our heart. It's the means by which you can grow and learn things. It's a lot going on with prayer. Huh?
And it works.
Prayer, and it works. And the right man has put prayer in the laboratory. Abraham was able to go through the trials he went through without ever cussing God because he loved God intensely. And he was grown to the point where God let him see how we were going to get up.
All right. All right.
God let that man see, that brother see, how the new universe was going to come into us. He was permitted to share our death, though he was in the spirit. Then he was permitted to get some sense. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the minister, and the rest of us will share in the governance of creation.
Yes, sir.
I said the governance.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
using the word accurately.
Yes, sir.
I don't know grammar, but I know diction.
All right.
Listen to me carefully now. All praise is due to Allah. That's what these 20 actual facts are for. It starts you on a course.
Yes.
There's people already prepared. The schoolhouse already set up. All we need to do is get out of kindergarten and go to the first grade.
Yes, sir.
To teach the black man and woman that which nobody has ever been taught before.
Yes.
Those people have been prepared. They're waiting.
Yes.
The chalk
Yes.
and the blackboard
Yes, sir.
and the point.
Praise be to Allah.
That's why I say this. He's throwing this at you.
Yes.
You say, well, I can't give birth. So what? White folks know how to put the organs back in the body. Did you know that? He's the devil.
Yes, they do.
He's the one who taught us to take them out. Now 20, 30 years past, he know how to put them back in, and he's the devil.
That's right.
That's right.
Now there's others that know it far better than him.
Yes, sir.
You stop putting these limitations on God. Who the hell are you to limit Allah? This limited stuff. You don't think God is a man. You say, well, I can't see how he can tune on everybody. That's just you. So what? You can't use you as the measure of nothing. Not the condition that we in.
That's right.
We can use this as the measure of madness. So that brings me, by Allah's help, to the end of this just about. I may have left 1 or 2 points out, but I wanted to, one point that just came back to me. This wisdom, we call this supreme. What makes this supreme? Earlier I touched upon this is how I'm going to end. This point about making us to go back. This teaching makes all of us to go back over our lives. Allah sends us back, but we don't do the right thing when we get back there in our mind.
Yes, sir.
We get back there and wallow in self-pity, or wallow in this, or anger, or whatever. Instead of dealing with that problem from the perspective of this wisdom. But you can't do it except to the extent that you've acknowledged that Allah is real.
Yes, sir.
Look at the lesson. Now that's for us as individuals. Look at us as a group, as a people. The lessons in the history that we're given takes us way back to our past. We've been taken all the way back through the Almighty Muhammad, all the way back to the time when there was the first man. Master Prophet Muhammad said, no one knows how he built himself up from nothing. That takes us into blank. But we do know he took his servant, back to that man. Now listen to these words carefully. The Almighty Muhammad told me this one day. He may have told others, I don't know. But I think I was told it because of my function as a witness bearer. And if you please Allah, you'll see that in a book pretty soon. I have a book that I'm just trying my best to get the final draft done. I'm hoping I can get it done in 2 weeks, and if I can, I go to press in 2 weeks. And that title is, Where is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Subtitle, Is he dead or physically alive? With interviews of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and others. Now look, you heard the Elijah Muhammad say this. The prepared one, of course, and others, they all go for the theology of time. So let me go there too. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. He said, this wisdom is from the root of wisdom of the creator of the universe. That takes us into the subconscious of the first God.
All right.
Not just the wisdom has a root. Now, once upon a time, that first man was not conscious. Right?
That's right.
He produced brains, but he wasn't conscious to think consciously with. Now, what was the nature of the wisdom out of which he created himself up to the point of consciousness? That's what we've been taken into in your own subconscious. This teaching takes you into your own subconscious for you and God to participate in removing the crud that was in our being from the time Mama was carrying us all the way through to the time we come into Islam. And even that.
Teach, black man.
I just said it. You can do what you want to do with it. I hope you got it.
Yeah, got it.
But I want you got it. It's all clear, right?
Yes, sir. Good teach.
Now, Brother Minister, I know you, with the knowledge that Allah blessed you with, you can just point and go in. The whole, I don't know what the principle is called, but I know what it is.
Yes.
Go, you have a problem. I saw a sister who was a rape victim. This new system they got, go back over the scene and relive it, and it's crying and screaming and hollering until after a while it loses its grip. You see it, you go back over it, you examine it, but from what standpoint? While you wallowing and crying and hollering and screaming because you're back there and you're reliving it from the point in time in which it happened. But as you wrestle with it and beat it down, I'm using blunt, I just have to talk the way I talk. And as you look at it more from the point of view of Allah, and less from the point of view of when it happened to you, what happens is the chains of it break. The links break. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Pull it out from the subconscious, bring it of truth, and it dissipates. And falsehood is an ever-vanishing thing.
Yes, sir.
So I thank you for your patience with me. I don't know how long it took to do this, but it took.
Yes, sir.
Took everything. One or two more times to come back here. It depends on the labors and what we work out. To do what I have to do. I got to go to a couple of other cities. I have an obligation to, you heard Minister Farrakhan say something about Jabril in the school. Well, we're in school now. This is it. And others will come after what I attempt to do the best I know how to do, and finesse it, make it better. But there's some things I spent my whole life studying. And I don't see why you should have to go and spend all the time that I spent. To me, that's crazy. I can show you, for example, how to get the storyline of the Bible down, and whatever time you got, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time you got, that's how much I can run it down to. I know that pretty well. There's a tape that I don't have anymore. It's in Chicago. I hope somebody will get it out here. But it's about a 50-minute talk. And I went right through the Bible on a full stomach, which is something I can't hardly ever do, talking on a full stomach. But Brother Allah out there, we were breaking up from dinner with Brother Minister Farrakhan 2 Novembers ago. And he kind of put me on the spot by saying, Brother Minister, is it all right if Brother Jabril comes out to the teacher's class tonight to conduct the class? Put me on the spot. And then, so they started talking to each other about me, so I had no choice. So I went, and I talked about, took about 50-55 minutes. A lot of good advice is packed into a very short tape. My point is, every one of you must know how to prove the truth of what you have accepted.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
you said, well, I don't know how to do it. Well, some of us have did some stuff. We give you some pre-digested stuff. Not nasty. But in a form where you can quickly save a lot of time.
Yes, sir.
There's only a few things I'm going to ask you to do, but I did a seminar with the believers in the southwestern region last August, a 10-hour seminar. And we went through, they did writing, they did listening, they're speaking all the ways that we communicate. And they came out of it somewhat more advanced. I want to do something like this here, but it will not take 10 hours. I want to help you with something that will advance you at once. I know that if you only understood, you have the Bible open, come on. If you understood better these two books, and then you take on the other hand the words we were given, what Master Farah Muhammad has said about Muhammad and the minister, you put that over here, you put these two over here. I would like to show you how you can just take this, you don't have to go outside of this, to prove the truth of what you and I have.
That's right.
It's easy, it's not hard.
Yes, it is.
I couldn't do it 40 years ago, couldn't do it 30 years ago, I can do it now. And so I want to do something like that, but it has to be worked out because we're busy doing a lot of things. But I know that if you, how many of you would like to understand the Bible better? That's everybody. Me too. Okay, so it's not a hard thing to do. It's simple. And, but, you know, what's required, thank you, sir. I was waiting for this before I sit down. Now, we got more percent with the 60, 67% with the brothers. Went up from 33 to 48%. Now, I hope that the tape is made available to whoever wants it. I didn't say nothing that I'm ashamed of. I didn't say nothing that I have to apologize for. But I hope that if you, but you're right, so you have to work that out. But I want my copy from Brother Majid's video. I don't want to miss nothing of what I said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Because I have a few other brothers and sisters. I don't want to have to go back over the same thing. I can take that tape and pass it on, so I can go and do something else.
Yes, sir.
Let's make it easy on everybody. This kind of work is hard.
Yes, yes, sir.
It takes you out of here.
Yes.
Now, isn't this interesting? The brothers went 15%, from 33 to 15. The sisters went 67%. And naturally, we play with numbers sometime. And there's 67 that represents the kingdom.
Yeah.
And the Holy Quran, isn't it? You sure 67 is called the kingdom?
Yes, sir.
I guess the sisters want to hit the other point. The 66 is a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And the sisters want to get out of the problem situation. The gap in 66 is very interesting. Numbers. I thank you so much. I hope that you think on it and chew it up and do the right thing by what we did our best to share with you. And maybe you can get the tapes and what we'll set up. We just have to find ways in our personal life to maximize our study. You say, well, I don't have so much time. That's understood. But I know what I did in Texas. I got several letters from believers saying, thank you. The main thing was to help believers how to extract quicker from what you got right in your own house.
Yes, sir.
And if I can help you do that by whatever percent, then that's what I am going to try to come back and do sometime toward the end of January. Now this book, Farrakhan the Traveler, it's not a literary masterpiece. It's what I wrote back then. There's some mistakes in it which we're trying to correct in the next printing of it. But then I made a decision. I reacted negatively. I didn't like the mistakes that were made because I had to leave the blue line up to the brother and sister who was helping me. Okay? While I was in Chicago. So they signed off on it, and some mistakes are there. But I'm the one who wrote the book. So I can't publicly blame them. I got to take the weight. You follow me? Yes. But as I was thinking on it, I looked and I saw certain things. I said, oh, I thought on it. But my mind went like this. I said, I know what I can do. And I'll give you the bottom line. It took about 5 days to see this, but my thought evolved to the point where if it's 12 to 14 to 1,500 pages, all of the articles that I've written, I'm going to stop Savior's Day writing the way I've been writing from the beginning, from the early 80s to now. I'm going to stop that particular way I've been dealing with the ministry, come another way. After Savior's Day, this will mark so that material can be made into books. I know that we're not going to buy no 12, 13, 1,400 page book. We say we love Islam, but we ain't going to hardly buy no book like that. Right? You look at a book that thick and you say, we just make that a conversation piece or whatever. Or we just put it somewhere. We're not hardly going to read, or we look through it a little bit. But if it's broken up into several books, maybe 200, 250 pages a piece, we might deal with it like that. Then I said, I know what I'll do. I'll get somebody, if any of you know how to do this, I need help on this. I need to design I already know what it looks like. Anyone of us know what a traveling bag looks like. But I need to get a bag either out of something hard or soft or whatever, vinyl, something, some kind of a bag. So that the books, and I got the brother to get me 6 or 7 books, the same size as this present book, maybe a bit bigger, 250 pages. And I tried it because I wanted to see what it would weigh. Okay, so I got those dummy books at home to design Farrakhan the Traveler, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up until it stops. From the beginning to the point to 2 months from now, okay? And then sell another package. If I can produce 20, 30, 40,000 of the whole of each volume, the unit cost goes way down. Therefore, the retail price can go way down. So the price for the whole kit can be very, very inexpensive. But to motivate people to buy the whole thing, charge maybe some 15, 20 bucks for one book, but dirt cheap on the whole kit. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
So that's what I decided by the help of Allah I would do. So that's another example of taking a lemon, making lemonade.
Yes, sir.
The other point I want to bring out, the reason I'm telling you this again is, we all must take responsibility. Don't just say the laborers messed up. The laborers before, now, and after made up. You take it as a we.
That's right. We.
If you don't take it as a we, then you violated the very letter that opened up these study guides. How many of us have killed messengers of God in the last year? At least once. Haven't the voice of God come up and you said, no, not today, God? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Go read that letter, please. And read your pledge card, please. Read it tonight. So when you come back tomorrow, it will more positively affect your spirit. That letter also talks about how the growth of God is developed in us.
Yes, sir.
Remember? Last word. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, spiritual teaching and training is more different than any other kind of teaching and training. Now that I'm raising as something for us to wrestle with. But remember, we can never get rid of hypocrisy, which is a spiritual disease, unless we first find out what spirituality is in the first place. Because the disease comes after health. The lie comes after truth. You can never understand lie, truth, evil, whatever, without knowing the good part, that it is, that it comes out of, or comes from. You follow what I'm saying? We can understand devil better once we found out that there was somebody before the devil. We was here. Then you can put the devil in perspective. Then we can put evil in perspective. Then we put this whole 400 years we've been through in perspective. And even the stuff that's going on in our own life of madness, remember, you're alive. You have a chance to benefit from whatever happened in your my life. So that the rest of our life is absolute heaven.
Wedding plan.
We thank Allah for our beloved brother. Yes, sir. The microphone now is coming back up. Thank you. We thank Allah for our beloved brother and his very insightful words. And I pray to Allah that we will all drink deeply from what he has shared with us today. I know I am.
Yes, sir.